Hi everyone, welcome to the studio. It's Martin from Meyer Street Records. I hope you're keeping well, and as ever, making great music in your own recording space, especially when you're not on YouTube. So in this video, I really want to talk about a really important thing, and that is, will good or expensive, new, shiny audio gear get you to better recordings, better results, all that stuff, or is it just a waste of money? So number one, having expensive audio equipment is going to make your song 1,000,000 times better. Just not true, okay? Don't rush out, buy loads of expensive gear in the hope that somehow those verses and choruses that you've written on a piece of paper are somehow going to just bounce out of the speakers just sounding like a fantastic record. Doesn't work that way. Expensive gear is good, and there is some real nice cheaper gear which is just as good, but the whole point of expensive equipment is really dependent on who's using it for you to record. So if you're inexperienced, don't just rush out, buy the most expensive preamps until you understand exactly why you need them. At the end of the day, the song is the most important thing. A great song would sound amazing even if it's a rubbish recording. Having older vintage equipment is going to somehow give you a tone to your music which somehow everyone's going to just appreciate and love. Just not true. To be honest, no one honestly cares. You and I care. We think about these kind of things a lot, possibly about the tone, about is there distortion in the vocal, how the drums layered, etc. But the average listener playing it off their Spotify or their phone or their iPad, etc., they don't care about that sort of stuff. And vintage equipment never used to be expensive. It was just the equipment of the time, just like you can buy gear today. However, as the marketing has come along and suddenly certain producers talk about certain equipment, and the biggest factor, certain pieces are just not made anymore, either because the company's gone bust or they're just not on the production line. These pieces of gear really are for the romantics. It's not going to change the world in your recording. Don't be fooled that somehow it will be. Not to say you won't feel good when you use these pieces of gear. I'm sure most people would feel great seeing some really nice equipment, but that's not the point. I just don't think it's worth the money to just throw into expensive, sought after compressors and preamps just for the sake of doing so. Instead, try using the tools you actually already have. Can you make a good song out of what you've got, whether it's a laptop and a load of plugins or some outboard laptop and a good microphone? What can you do with what you have? That's probably the better route to start. Your vocal performance will only work with a £10,000 microphone. Come on, guys, think about this for a second. No one in their right mind can honestly say that this microphone for 10 grand, for example, is going to make that singer sound better. It just doesn't work that way. It's a bit of the vintage talk here, but the reality is a good singer will always sound good, and a great or good engineer will make the best of what equipment they've got. A 10 grand microphone just won't magically sound good. Believe me, I've tried them. It doesn't work that way. They might have character, they might have a certain tone, but the engineer's ears are the only ones mixed with a good vocal performance, maybe a great vocal performance, well timed, good tonation, fantastic tuning, and everything just working of emotion is what makes a good vocal performance. The money sign around equipment, or microphones in this case, will not change a thing if your singer can't sing. So the most important part is work on performance. If you're the producer, get the emotion out of your singer. If you're just the singer and recorder, then fantastic. Do both jobs at the same time. But believe me, that 10 grand microphone is just not worth it. Yes, they exist. Why do they exist? It's the same reason, because there's always different levels of equipment. There's going to be expensive cars and there's going to be very cheaper cars. But believe me, you'll always get to the same destination. You feel better in a more expensive recording space. Yes, it's probably nice if you've got a big band, 5 people plus, to be in a big recording space. You probably have more room, you feel more relaxed. but it's not going to change the way the band perform. It's not going to change the way the record will sound. But I suppose it's a bit like fashion. At the end of the day, you feel good, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's complete opinion. But the most important part is use your own imagery, have a bit of self-belief. You don't have to be in an expensive space paying a lot of money to feel good. You know, you need to have a mindset. Big bands, before they made it big, I've heard many autobiographies where they would give 110% in performance, whether they were playing to 10 people or 10,000 people. It shouldn't be about that. We don't need prima donnas in recording studios. It's really just about how you feel. So yeah, if you have the money and you need the space, why not? But really, I'd rather just keep the money in my wallet, work on my performance, work on my positivity, my enthusiasm, my ability to perform, and that way maybe you just might be better off in the long run. You'll only get a record deal if your demo is made in an expensive studio with expensive equipment. Just not true. Most A&R guys, record guys, music producers don't want to hear a finished article. What's the point? What they really want to hear is a great concept of a song. That could be a vocal and a piano. It could just be a melody hummed into a dictaphone with some scribbled notes. You don't have to go all out, spend a load of money, especially on a demo. If you've got an advance from a record production company and they say, brilliant, we love what you've done, go and make a great record for us because we want to make loads of money out of you, then yeah, go for it. But the most important part is don't ever feel that you will only make it if you record your songs perfectly the first time. Many good albums have been recorded many times before it got to the final product. So having the ability to maybe focus on songwriting, coming up with really great melody pays a lot further in the long run. So is having expensive audio equipment a waste of time in the first place? No, I'm not saying that at all. I like having some expensive pieces in the studio. I've been recording for nearly 20 odd years now. And yeah, I wish I could afford certain pieces or could find certain pieces to go into my own studio. But I would always just say one important part, and that is only acquire stuff for your recording studio if it's something that you know how to use and you know it's going to give you actual purpose in your recordings, because that is ultimately what you're doing, you're recording. So just going out and buying something just for the pure sake of it is a bit mindless, and what a waste of money, right? So maybe try stuff out before you get to that expensive purchase, but ultimately always make sure you're a master at what you can do with what you already have before you just start reaching out, buying stuff, wasting your money on gear that really you didn't need in the first place. Remember, good sound only comes from good experience, knowing your room, understanding your monitors, realizing how recording works a lot more than just putting a microphone in front of a singer or a guitarist, for example. Experimenting with equipment you've already got. Marketing will always be there for fantastic equipment. Don't get me wrong. Imagery is in some ways so annoying, right? Because you see so many pieces of gear that you think, oh, if that was in my rack, everyone would think I'm more professional. It's just not true. And if they do, like I said at the start of the video, they're not the ones you really need to inspire, because there'll always be a studio that is bigger, better, looks more impressive to those types of people. So they will always talk about them. So you need to home in on your people, on the type of client you want to record, type of productions you want to be part of. And that way you will save yourself some money and everything will have a lot more purpose and you'll feel a lot more in control, rather than just looking in the magazine or on Instagram and seeing a load of gear and thinking, yeah, I need that, without really knowing why. I'm not saying it's not a nice thing to have the hands-on feel of analog equipment. I'm not saying it's a bad thing either. I enjoy it as much as everyone else does, really. I just wanted to give you my insights on this matter, so I hope it inspires somebody to do the right thing for themselves. And if you have any comments, your own experiences in buying a load of gear, maybe regrets, or maybe like you had regret and then you know, you were really pleased that you had doubt and then you sort of were really pleased in the end that you got certain pieces, then fab, that's good. Share it by all means. But until the next video, guys, I'll see you later and keep well, keep making good music. Cheers, bye.